This is Fowl Players Radio, your podcast for arts, entertainment, and pop culture. Welcome. My name is Michael Spedden, your host. Every episode features fun, fascinating stories about people in the performing arts, actors, authors, dancers, writers, musicians, athletes, you name it. Folks who are center stage, backstage, on camera, or behind the scenes. Sit back and listen. Let's have some fun. Fowl Players Radio is a proud production of the Fowl Players Group and the official podcast of the Fowl Players of Perryville.
Hey, you guys, this is Gina Shock, drummer of the Go-Go's.
Snowman here.
Hey, Mary Jo Peel here.
Hi, this is Kathy Ladman.
Hi, this is Jay Nedry from the Road Ducks.
This is A.D. Adams, and you are tuned in to Fowl Players Radio with your host, Michael Spedden.
Hey, Michael Spedden here, everybody. Tonight's guest, Sammy Serious returns. Sammy Serious of the Zeros has returned to Fowl Players Radio to tell us all about his new album, I Am the Zeros, Sammy Serious The Zeros. We discussed a bunch of the new songs and the fact that he played all the instruments on the album, talked about the 4-3-2-1 album and some plans for that, shows at the Whiskey in LA, and much, much more. The new album can be found on most music services like iTunes and Apple and Spotify. His website is www.sammyserious.com, and you can find all kinds of other stuff, merch and past music and everything else there. If you are interested in professional comedic entertainment in your venue or your fundraiser or any other event, please consider a murder mystery from the Fowl Players of Perryville. For bookings and other information, please call 443-600-0446. You can email us at foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com or see our main website at www.foulplayersofperryville.com. Don't miss the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, Baltimore's pure rock worldwide. We feature songs you forgot you liked, current and classic local rock, and hard rock and metal classics that never die. Tune in every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Listen on your computer. Download the app, and you can listen everywhere you go. It's a free download, 97underground.com. We at Fowl Players Radio are proud to support artists, and we encourage you to consider shopping small and supporting them as well. Links to our guests' books, albums, tickets to their show, and all other items can be found in the show notes of every episode. Please support these folks. They're working very hard. We thank you for tuning in and listening. Remember, you can help us greatly by clicking on the like and subscribe buttons and giving us a fair review. Our main website is foulplayersradio.com, and our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. We'll be back with Sammy Serious right after these words. Put on your detective hat for an evening of murder mystery at NAMI of Howard County's Fall Fundraiser, Friday, November 3rd, 2023, from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Owen Brown Community Center, 6800 Cradle Rock Way in Columbia, Maryland. The Fowl Players of Perryville will present The Late, Late, Late Show. Chaos ensues at a local TV station when a murder takes place. Can you solve the case by gathering clues from the suspects? Don't miss out on this exciting event filled with intrigue and entertainment. There will be raffle prizes too. Tickets are available at NAMIHowardCounty.org. The mission of NAMI Howard County is to improve the lives of individuals with mental illness and their families through education, advocacy, and support, and to increase awareness of mental illness throughout the community. All funds raised through the event directly support their programs, which are free of charge for all participants. Get your tickets now at NAMIHowardCounty.org. We hope to see you there.
Hi, this is Bud Becker.
Hi, everybody. Dwight Weems from Gaz the Fun Band.
Hi, folks. This is Jay David.
Hey, this is Brian Damage from Kicks and Rhino Bucket.
Hi, this is Kim of Kim's Crypt.
Hello, my name is Gunhild Carling.
Hi, this is Paul Castiglia, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio, the one-stop shop for all your pop culture needs.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. And tonight we have Sammy Serious has come back to see us again. Sammy Serious of the Zeros with a brand new album and lots of great news. So welcome.
Glad to be here, man.
So it's good
Again,
to, yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm glad you came back to see us. And brand new album, I Am the Zeros by Sammy Serious The Zeros. Tell us about this.
Well, it started out with a situation where we were going to go in and record a new album. Okay. A band, the Zeros. Okay. And what happened was between everybody's, schedules and things getting into the studio and pre-production and everything, I had the songs written and tried to, work out and coordinate, where we could all do it together, but it didn't happen that way. And basically, so I did it myself, as the Zeros because everybody else wasn't there.
Yeah.
So just like a kind of thing where, the different people were going to be on it and stuff like that. And I had we had another guitar player that joined us, and there was we were doing some reunion shows with the old lineup, and we were going to release the 4321 album on and re-release that. And we're still in the process of doing that. Okay. So the album came about as basically just me going into the studio because it was just the cheapest way to do it. There really isn't. This is labor of love music now. It's not really. It's not like it. It was real. It was real beneficial. Like years ago, you used to get a record deal and you had a budget, and you had things. You had money, and things were in the process. But now it's just a whole different ballgame. So that's why I called it I Am the Zeros.
Yeah, I see.
Like me recording everything, and I was sitting there doing that. So.
Yeah, well, you've always been a multi-instrumentalist too, because I know that the Zeros, you were the singer, but I've seen your other projects on where you've played guitar and bass and done other things as well. Yeah. So, this definitely wasn't a stretch, and it was all very well done.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been a musician all my life, and started recording back. Seriously, I mean, writing songs and stuff like that years ago. I mean, like, when I was like in my teens.
Sure.
And going into the studio and, doing stuff like that. So over the years, I honed my craft and basically, did the instruments and stuff like that.
Right, right. And you've been performing out in LA. I've seen where you've advertised a number of shows, I believe at the Whiskey and a couple of other places.
Yeah.
How have the shows been going? I guess it's been a while that you've.
I'll tell you, they go great. They go great. It's like, we do a show and everybody loves it, and we, get a lot of offers for other things, but it just seems like coordinating schedules with the guys in the band and stuff like that. It's just like they're all over the place basically, and they're not really like zoomed into where, they're able to do one thing.
Sure, sure.
So, I mean, like everybody's older now. So it's like, I mean, I'm a full timer, but a lot of guys, have their own thing going, or they do other things, or they work gigs, or they have jobs and stuff like that, and families and things like that. So really it kind of, conflicts with the schedule of what a band could do with the traveling and all that stuff. So we try and work it out, but, it just seems like it's just almost impossible with the way the music industry is today. So
it's very difficult in a lot of ways. And I think that, there are a lot of people in the same boat, with the way things have turned out. I've had a lot of people come on here and talk about how it's just not the way it used to be even when it comes to getting royalties for the music and the income.
It's more like a vanity project now. It's like you're out there, you're playing, and you're happy about playing and stuff like that. And that's really the bottom line. You got to be happy with what you're doing and playing.
Yeah,
yeah. Because if you're in this for any kind of fame and fortune, even the biggest names in the business now that are, I can name a few of them. They're not making the money they should be making. And it's just like what it's coming down to is like, luckily for live shows and merchandise, I guess you can if you get to a level where you could, capitalize on that, then you're doing good,
Right.
But as far as albums, like, I released this album. It was I put it out and it's free. You get it. You could buy it, I guess, if you really want it, but you can listen to it free all you want. So, why pay for something you could get for free?
Well, I bought it, but
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and I believe in supporting artists.
Yeah, well, people got to realize that, because it comes down to where, if you don't support the arts, they're going to disappear.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. They think like this. People are just going to keep going and doing this. That don't work like that. You need it, no matter what happens. It takes some kind of money and budget to make things work to where it's able to, move forward. But a lot of things now are just like, people got their own little home studio. They do it at home, this and that, stuff like that. So the days of the recording studio and going into the recording studio. I mean, I recorded, we recorded 4321 at a multi-million-dollar studio.
Yeah.
And it was like, now people are just on their computer, doing the whole thing. So, and that was like a, big thing to go in the studio. So that's all like, yeah, it was like, to go in a, state-of-the-art studio and do your record and stuff like that was a very cool thing. But now it's like, you got your computer with your interface, and I did this in a real studio. I did this in Hit Track Studios in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tom Barham and me, he was engineering it, and and it was just me and him basically through the whole thing. So yeah, I did that there. So it was actually a real studio I went into, instead of doing it on the computer and trying to get things like like that.
Sure. I think that it is all fine and good to do that, but there's still people that really don't know what they're doing with it, and it really does pay to have a seasoned engineer or seasoned producer with you.
Yeah, well, I even know that,
Yeah.
It's like the EQ, everything got to be in perspective. I mean, and you got to really have an engineer know what's going on, because you can know what sound you want, but you can't get it. You need him to, basically get it, and that's where he comes in.
Sure. I mean, there are a number of studios. I'm from Maryland. I primarily played the Baltimore DC scene, in my day, and a lot, the studios that were down here were gone, and people do go to the home thing, using their laptop and everything to record. But the thing is that these studios had some major, just absolutely incredible equipment in there. The vintage amps, the vintage guitars, the excellent drum sets and everything. And it's a shame that a lot of them had to close their doors and liquidate.
Yeah, right.
Because the thing is that equipment's the real deal. The sounds that you're going to get, can become close to, but you can't always get it electronically. The problem is that there just wasn't enough demand anymore to keep those studios open, and that's the real sad part about it. Is that that part of the art has gone away. I mean, things, as they say, life goes on, life finds a way. That was that Jurassic Park or something, but it's true. Sometimes things do find their way back, and hopefully, one day it will. But wonderful job on the album. I was just listening to a bunch of the songs, and it's kind of what I expected. The kind of sound in your writing style that I liked from the 4321 album. And by the way, I've been giving you some airplay on 97 Underground too. We'll talk about that a little later off air, but I really like the I Am the Zeros song. I Love You Honey. That was a really good one. That one almost reminds me of an early rock and roll song in a way, the way the verses and the vocals are. It almost sort of sounded almost like it could have been performed by like a vocal group in the 50s, just by the way the verses are and the words go, and kind of how you did that. Granny Groupie. That song, the thing I really dug about that was I love the opening riff, but in between the opening riff and where the lyrics start, you've got this little bridge in there with some really nice guitar work in there, and I wanted to commend you on that.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun recording Granny Groupie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the riff. The riff was like it hit me pretty hard. That riff.
Mm-hmm.
The song around it was good.
Yeah, that really is a good riff, and it really just leads right into the lyrics very, very well. I have to say, I really, and I could go on all day about it, but I won't. But I really enjoy.
Oh, please do.
Oh, okay. Hey, I just really enjoy good writing, and I've really, I've listened to your stuff for a long time now, and I just really like the things you do.
Yeah.
And I can really tell that you've got influences from all over the place too, as well. You're very, I can tell you have very eclectic tastes, and you draw from a lot of different areas in your influences and everything. Like I love you, honey. You have like some of the vocal lines have like that ah ha ha, that type of thing. I can't duplicate it, but it's like that early rock and roll vocal style. What?
I do love that song. I think it's a great song.
Yeah. What kind of influences, like early rock and roll influences, did you have in your?
I grew up. I really seriously grew up on. It's really just a weird mix because you had the Beatles, like it says in the song, Beatles, Stones, Sex Pistols, ELO, like they were all one big group. Then I got into like blues. Okay. I got into Alvin Lee, Johnny Winter. Like I was into this whole blues thing, for a long time. And then I got into the glam thing with the Bowie, the Cooper, Alice Cooper, Bowie, T-Rex, all that stuff. Sweet. I mean, got into that. Then there was the New York scene I got into with Blondie, Ramones, all that kind of stuff. And, let's not forget about Cheap Trick and all those bands. I mean, like, it's just a whole big mumbo jumbo thing that I, just stuff I really liked. And then I was a big Pink Floyd fan and got into Pink Floyd. And then I got into, all those bands, man. It was like, they just helped me through my, my teenage years.
Yeah.
They really did. So
I like a lot of that stuff too, and I've got a pretty good spectrum.
Mott the Hoople was a big influence too.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
A Queen, just all that stuff. I mean, it was all good, all great stuff. And then in the 70s, I hate to say the 70s, but like there was a whole thing with the Marshall Tucker Band, the Outlaws, Leonard Skinner. I mean, and that whole bunch, came in at a time too,
Sure.
I mean, really, that's really where I come from, kind of. And then the punk scene in New York, and all that, So I mean, if you fuse all that together, you kind of, get my influences from there.
Right. And when I was playing, I drew a lot from those things as well. I've you and I are pretty close in age, so I can kind of get the we grew up in that same era, and so a lot of those same things I was got into my head and kind of influenced me as well. The you had mentioned doing shows, having some the 4-3-2-1 lineup together, and are you planning on touring or doing anything to support this, doing some shows?
Well, let's talk about the 4-3-2-1 lineup, okay?
Yeah, go right ahead.
We have. I just got to say, like, we are like a family, okay? We fight, we don't fight, we get along, we don't get along. You know what I mean? It's just like these guys have been in my life for like 40 years. You know what I mean? I'm not going to shake them. It's like, there's no way to shake them. So it's like, we go back and forth. We don't get along. We get in fights, this and that, and all kinds of stuff. We get shows, things go on with the show. We can't do it. I get mad, this and that. they get mad at me, I get mad at them. They want to do this, I want to do that. So the whole thing is like, it's all good at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I don't really have a problem with any of them as far as playing on stage. If you could get us on stage, if the gig, let's say the gig is in 6 months,
yeah, right.
Between the first month to the 6th month is total chaos. But if you get us on stage, man, it all goes away. And that's really the beauty of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of people take the drama seriously. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, well, he's mad at him. This guy's mad at this guy. This guy's doing this. And really the bottom line is it's just what it is. And it's just like, it doesn't mean really anything. It's like fighting with your brother. You know what I mean? You fight your brother. You beat them up, they beat you up, whatever it is, and that, and then your friends the next day. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like that. So I'm just like, on the fence. It's like, 1 minute I could sit there and say, yeah, we're gonna do this, and the next minute I'm sitting there going, hey, this ain't gonna work out, stuff like that. So but overall, man, it's just like, it's just whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is, I listen to everybody else fighting, Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, this one and that one. We're in good company. I mean, like,
yeah,
we are in good company. So if you're a band like that, I guess you got what it takes to be a band like that, because these guys are excellent. They're fighting like cats and dogs. Roger Waters and, the guitar player. I mean, the whole thing, it's one big mess. So it's like, but once you get these guys on stage, it's like the beauty of the whole thing just comes together, and you just can't replace that.
Sure.
So that's where it's at. So I'm just
right. Well, I'd love to see it. I would definitely love the chance to see the see the Zeros on stage. I would really
it's a great experience, man. Even in today.
Right.
Everybody comes and sees it. They love the band. They love the shows. They want to come again, and it's just really like just trying to get people to do it and make it work.
Sure.
That's really trying to get it done.
Yeah. And again, there are just so many, as you had mentioned before, life. Just so many things with life right now that can.
Life is too short. I'll tell you to be funny. That's for sure. And it takes a while to realize that, but
yeah.
Sometimes, sit there and go, you know what? It ain't worth it to sit here and fight like this. But at the same time, who's going to give in to who, and what's going to happen with what? So,
Yep. And
so happy medium.
Right. So I'd seen that you've been performing, the Whiskey in L.A. and a lot of places in the old stomping grounds. And you had talked about Vegas. Are you working there as well?
Well, I'm trying to get some shows there and stuff like that. Like I said, it's it's basically like kind of like just trying to get out there. You know what I mean? If I'm out over here in Jersey, I got to go there, and the band got to come there from California or whatever, or wherever the band is. So it's like it's like getting it. What I'm trying to really do is get. I'm gonna try and get this album and the 4321 album together, as far as like a double album. I wanted to make a double album. I was talking to the record company about that. There was a record company involved, like with the 4321 album, and we're trying to get it out there and do some stuff. But there's some contracts that need to be negotiated and signed between the members who were on that album.
Oh yeah.
So we were trying to get that going. So I'm trying to work that out, and then get this album. And actually, even if it takes them or us or whoever to go on tour, okay, and get a tour and get a band to where we could jump on a band and with the band and go out on tour and do a slew of shows throughout the United States, that would be the ultimate thing to where it would work out for us. I just think that, doing a sporadic show here, doing a sporadic show there is more, takes more time and energy just to get everybody in one vehicle and just, go through and have a slew of shows going through.
Yeah. I can see that. A lot of bands are doing that, though. They're doing like a weekend at a time, or wherever they can go, and just not humping all the.
flying dates. They do, they go and fly in here, they fly in over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, renting all their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest thing to do. But I mean, like, actually, not getting a tour and getting dates set up would be like the way I want to do it.
Right. Yeah, that takes a lot of coordination and everything too. Yeah. So that would be great. So to make this, the new album in the 4-3-2-1 a double album, that would be great. I mean, I've had that 4-3-2-1 album since the 90s. I had the cassette a long time ago, and then I have it electronically or digitally now. And that's just a great album. And again,
it needs to see the light of day. It hasn't really struck the light of day like it should have. You know what I mean? I think because the record company folded when we put the album out.
Yeah.
Okay. They merged over to Capitol. There was Restless Records. They merged over to Capitol. We were going over to Capitol. Then they decided to keep us on there. Then the label blew up and the whole thing, and we had problems on the road. So it was like, the album, I never thought the album got to see the full potential of what it needed to see.
Right.
Right. And the people who know about it love it, but you got to get to the people who didn't know about it and have them be able to discover it.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, if I may, again, you also being a DJ on 97underground.com. I have a show, and I have been playing the Zeros off of the 4-3-2-1 album. I did. I've had a couple of. I did one show where I played the intro and the 4-3-2-1 together.
Yeah.
I also did Sticky Sweet Girls.
Yeah.
And I did Death Rock Girl. So I've played those in the last couple of weeks. So that's seen the light of day. And I did have a couple of people. I do give out my email address, on the air. I did have a couple of people write back and say that Zeros, that was cool stuff. I like it. So hopefully it'll end up working, well for you, and I'm going to continue. I plan on getting some of this stuff out for you as well.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. It's really it's really good stuff and well worth seeing. But it's just what you just described. I've heard of, and I've had so many people as guests that are from my region, the Mid-Atlantic region, that have had the same kinds of things happen. You just mentioned, the record came out, then the record company folded, and then, this, that, and the other thing. And, I mean, listening to that album, like I was saying, it's well written, it's well played. And I would have put that album up against anything else that was out in that era. It's very, very comparable in terms of writing and production and quality. And the band being good, I mean, it's just a shame that it seems like that's the way the cookie crumbled for you,
Well, you know what? It kind of resurged in a way because what happened was I was trying to the album, kind of the record company folded. The album was sitting there, nobody was doing anything with it. Okay, and I was trying to buy the rights to release the record. Okay, and this came about with the people at Warner Brothers getting involved because I called them up and they had the rights to the album. And I said, well, listen, I'm trying to get a hold of somebody there to get the album for the Zeros. You know what I mean? To get the Zero. Oh, well, who's the Zero? This and that. And they're talking to me about it. I'm like, no, well, it's our band. We were on Restless Records, and they sold the stuff to Capitol, and Capitol, I guess, whatever, mumbo jumbo again, and then it wound up in their hands, and that's where I followed it to, and then they started listening to it, and they said, "Oh, this is great stuff. We got to get this out there." No brainer, right? Like, they're like, who is it? Like, why we never heard of you guys before, So they get the stuff, they want to get it out there, and I'm trying to they said, can you get the guys back to do something with the album? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but probably I got to call them up. So unfortunately, I call them up, and they're all busy doing other stuff, and Yeah, they're like kind of blowing it off. But I'm sitting there. So time goes by. They release the record. They released the record, and then they wanted to do this whole digital download thing now, digitally, whatever, streaming. Everything's streaming now. That's like
I know.
Yeah, so it's all streaming and it's all this. So they're calling me up nonstop, and I'm trying to work with them on it, and they go, well, can you get the other guys to sign on the contract so we can release this? This is really good stuff. So I'm in kind of talks with the guys, but I'm not getting anywhere, and like they're kind of like being here and there, and I don't really know where I stand with it yet. So I'm trying to push it through and see what goes on. So that's where we're at now.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get this worked out to where we can release this on Spotify.
Yeah,
not Spotify, just all the streaming sites, so people could hear it. This and that. But they own the album. I own the music. This and that. I wrote the music. So the thing is it's a joint thing, and they need the people who were on the contract back in the day to get the record out. So that's where I'm at, trying to talk to them about that. And right now, we're just hanging out, waiting for the decision, for the green light to get it rolling. So
isn't it awful, all the hoops you have to jump through for these kinds of things?
It is.
My God,
it is. But it's all at a point where nobody, it's like at a point where people are like, I don't know. I care. I mean, I care about it. I want it to be out there. You know what I mean? I'm sure they care about it. I'm sure they care about it and want to do it. It's just, trying to make it all work at one time,
Yeah. Well, like my best of luck to you. Really best of luck to you, Liam. I really like, personally, I'd love to see it happen. And
me too. It's right there on the cliff, waiting to take a leap and see if it's gonna fly or die. But
right. It would be great to see it happen. Because I just think it should be heard by more people. It should be out there. It should be heard, and you all should be seen too. I really believe that.
We're all still alive, so it's like that's a big factor now.
Right.
I mean, we're all still alive, so that, people got to look at that and go, yes, we're still alive, so let's do something. Let's make it work.
Right. And
if I can't make it work that way, I'll make it work another way. It's not really. I had different lineups before, different things, going on. So it's really just like something that is just a matter of taking it and work.
Yeah, you had been, because I had been, before I had you on the first time, and I looked at all your stuff, and I did see that you had been doing a number of things. You had a couple of lineups, of the Zeros, playing the Zeros music and everything too. So yeah. Best of luck with this, though.
Well, I call them different lineups now. Because different albums played on different lineups. Rule of the World, we had a different total lineup than 4-3-2-1. And it was like, things just got different people and different things. Are you still there?
Oh, yeah. I'm still here.
I lost you here. Let me get back here.
Can you hear me?
You are. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting these pop-ups or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm still here. So, well, great. Well, like I said, the new album is out. It's great. I really enjoy listening to it, and I think everybody else will too. Why don't you tell us where we can get a hold of this and all your other things? I know you've got a few websites and everything out.
I mean, if you go to there's two websites that go to the same website. So you got SammySerious.com, and you got the Zeros, Sammy Serious The Zeros.com. And you can buy the records on there, but I think I'm going to be releasing a lot more on the streaming sites, and getting into that avenue a little bit more. I was kind of not really into that avenue, like going down that street, because really it's just like it's like you just like, I don't know, like people got to discover you. You got to really like kind of like push yourself. You're the record company now. you know.
Yep.
Instead of having a record company who pushed you back in the day, you know, now you got to push yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. You do. Yep. Great. Well, Sammy, I appreciate you coming back and seeing us again. It's like I said, this album is it's good stuff. As I expected, when I bought it, and I Am the Zeros by Sammy Serious The Zeros. And it's available. You do have it on a couple of download sites, right? I think I got mine.
It's on Amazon. It's on all of them. It's on all of them, and it's been, I guess you could call it a worldwide release.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you sure can.
But I really appreciate you playing us on the radio. Mm-hmm. That's a big factor. I think that helps a lot. Because you definitely need to get exposed. People got to find out about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, folks, we've had Sammy Serious with us tonight from the Zeros. He returning. It's been about a year and a half. It's always great to catch up with guests and see how they're doing from time to time. Get out and buy this album and get out and buy his stuff. All kinds of merch, all kinds of music is available. We gave you the links, and we'll also post the links again and put them in the show notes for you. And folks, we will see you all next time. Thanks again, Sammy.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me.
Okay. Hello, listeners. We at Fowl Players Radio thank you for all of your support over the past 10 seasons and nearly 300 episodes. We would like to encourage you to keep listening and spread the word. Audio versions of all episodes can be found on our main website, fowlplayersradio.com, as well as on many of the other platforms you can see here. You can find all of our Season 9 and 10 episodes, as well as some best-of episodes and shorts on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to get alerts when new episodes are released. No matter what platform you choose to listen, you can help us greatly by hitting the subscribe button and giving us an honest review. You can also help us by supporting us at patreon.com/fowlplayersradio or at buymeacoffee.com/fowlplayerw. Your support makes it possible for us to continue to be your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. Be sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for new episode announcements and news and updates on all of our guests. Thank you, and enjoy this episode. And we would like to thank Sammy Serious for returning to Fowl Players Radio to tell us all about his new album, I Am the Zeros, Sammy Serious The Zeros. The new album can be found on most music services, and for more information, go to www.sammyserious.com. Thanks again, pal. It was great to see you. If you are interested in professional comedic entertainment for your venue, your fundraiser, or any other event, please consider a murder mystery from the Fowl Players of Perryville. For bookings and other information, please call 443-600-0446. Email fowlplayersperryville@yahoo.com. Our website is www.fowlplayersofperryville.com. Don't miss the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide, where we feature songs you forgot you liked, current and classic local rock, hard rock, and metal classics that never die. Tune in every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Listen on your computer or download the app so you can listen everywhere you go. 97underground.com. We at Fowl Players Radio are proud to support artists, and we support you to consider shopping small and supporting them as well. Links to their books, albums, tickets to their shows, and other items can be found in the show notes of every episode. We thank you for tuning in and listening. Remember, you can help us greatly by clicking on the like and subscribe buttons and giving us a fair review. Our main website is fowlplayersradio.com, and our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate all your support. Please, like I said, go to our website, go to all the sites where you find us, hit the click the subscribe button, and give us a fair review. This is Michael Spedden signing off. We will see you next time, folks.